In one day, a man lost his 10 children, his entire fortune, and shortly after, his health. And God let it happen not because he stopped caring, but for a reason that might completely change how you think about your own suffering. This is the real story of Job. The book opens somewhere most people never expect, not on earth, but in a heavenly council. Satan appears before God, and God himself points Job out. Have you considered my servant Job? There's no one on earth like him, blameless, upright, fears God, shuns evil. Satan's response is a direct accusation. Does Job fear God for nothing? You've blessed everything he has. Take it away, and he'll curse you to your face. This is the actual engine of the whole story. It's not really about Job's suffering first. It's about a question being tested. Is faith only real when it's rewarded? Would Job still worship God with nothing left to gain from it? God permits the test, and in a matter of hours, messengers arrive one after another with catastrophic news. Job's oxen and donkeys stolen, his servants killed, his sheep burned up, his camels taken, and finally, the worst news. A great wind collapsed the house where all 10 of his children were gathered and none survived. Job's response is one of the most striking moments in the Bible. He tears his robe, shaves his head, normal ancient expressions of grief falls to the ground and says, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." Scripture explicitly says, in all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing. Then a second wave hits Job's body, breaks out in painful sores from head to foot. His wife tells him to curse God and die. And 3 friends show up to comfort him, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, who actually sit with him in silence for 7 days, which is the one thing they get right. Then they start talking, and most of the book is their long speeches insisting Job must have secretly sinned, because in their theology, suffering always equals punishment. Job pushes back against every single argument, insisting he's innocent, and increasingly begs God directly for an explanation. This is most of the book not comfort, but bad theology dressed up as wisdom, and Job's exhausting fight to hold on to both his innocence and his faith at the same time. After chapters of demanding an explanation, God finally answers Job, but not with a reason. He speaks out of a whirlwind and asks Job a series of overwhelming questions. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Have you commanded the morning since your days began? Can you bind the chains of the Pleiades? It goes on for 4 chapters. God never once explains why Job suffered. He reveals his power, his wisdom, and the scale of what he governs that Job simply can't see from where he's standing. And Job's response isn't frustration. He says, "I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know." Job doesn't get his answer. He gets God, and it's enough. The book ends with God restoring Job actually more than he had before. But that ending isn't really the point of the story, and it's a mistake to walk away thinking, stay faithful and you'll get double back. The real point sits earlier, in the whirlwind. Some suffering in your life will never come with an explanation. You may never know why the diagnosis, the loss, the collapse happened when it did. Job's story gives you permission to grieve honestly, to ask hard questions, even to argue with God like Job did for 35 chapters while still landing, like he did, on trust instead of bitterness. Sometimes trust isn't getting the answer, it's trusting the one who has it, even when he doesn't explain. If this helped, subscribe for more Bible stories that actually tackle the hard questions, and share it with someone in a hard season right now. Comment Job if you needed this.